Hi everybody, it's Robin with Uniquely Robins. We're working on Nathalie Heijne's kit today. I do think that the other day I mentioned that we were going to be doing Arabella's kit this week, and I apologize for that. I had my dates mixed up. Hers will be later on. So we are working with Nathalie's this week. Her vintage purple and her industrial findings. I'm not sure if we're going to use both of these kits in this same project or not. I haven't decided for sure yet, but they do complement each other very well. So we may end up doing that. I'm going to set these aside. And I've cut out the pieces for our journal, trying to make a little more room here on my desk to get to it, because it's going to be kind of a wide spread. So what we're going to start with was, I have two, the front and the back, and we're going to make these will be 6.5 by 8.5 inches. That's inches. So we're going to need our front cover. So that'll be our front cover, our spine, our back cover, our spine again, because we're going to make this like the other one, so it closes kind of box shaped. It helps hold everything in a little better. I don't measure this, I just kind of eyeball it, but I do want it to be fairly even. I'm trying to use up some of my scrap chipboard that I had. Have to order me some more too. Okay, so we have our front cover, or our front cover, our back spine, the regular like spine, the back cover, the front side spine, and then this will be our piece we're going to flip over the front to the closure part. Okay, I know there's a lot, and you probably won't be able to see the whole entire thing at one time here. So we're going to have to lay them this way. So we're going to need 3 pieces of our cardstock to put on. So we're going to glue those together. You want enough glue it's going to hold it, but not too much that it's going to be running everywhere. And I just barely want to go over it. And this is a little bit of a process, so this may take some time to get this completed, but we will get it done. I'm hoping to get it done by Friday, or after Friday's video, but if not, we will probably do some weekend videos to finish it up. Once you make your decisions and decide how you want to do it and everything like that, it goes a little faster. There's a lot of decisions to make on how many flips and folds you want, how many cascades you want in it, or waterfalls. Some people call them waterfalls. Okay, so we got that. And I want to put my pieces on that. Okay, so we're going to start with our back cover. I'm trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing here. And we're going to glue this piece down first. That'll give us our base to start with. I don't want to say measure everything out, because I don't really measure, but I think you know what I mean. our first one will always give us our start. And we want to come over enough that when we fold it, we have something going over the lip. Okay, so we have that. And then we're going to need our spine for the back side. So this one will be next. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Seems to be a little warmer today. Maybe some of the snow will melt away. All right. And I know you'll notice that these are a little off in color, but that doesn't matter because they're going to be, you're not going to see the chipboard anyway, so it'll all be covered up. And I'm not really worrying a whole lot about the spillover right now. So this will be our next piece. So we have our front, our back spine, and our back side, back panel, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know all the technical terms because I'm old school, but I just kind of wing it and do me. So I'm sure there is a more technical way to do this. I'm sure there's lots of videos out there on it, but I just kind of like to get a small kind of an idea in my head of what I want to do and do it. People seem to like them, so that's always good. Okay. I'm hoping we may need another. Well, that might be enough. That might be enough to go over. I should have brought that over just a tiny bit more on the other side, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Yeah, this is definitely not going to be a one and done video, so just trying to feel and make sure I'm getting about the same space in between. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a science. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And this I do have kind of rounded corners on, so I'm going to put that on the outside, so it'll be the part that flips up. And you'll understand a little more what I'm talking about when I talk about what pieces are what when we get it covered. Okay. Here. Keep on there straight as I can anyway. Okay. Now we have our pieces all glued down. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to miter the corners a little bit. It just gives you less bulk when you come to do it. And we may cut more off of there when we get to that point. But I'd rather have too much on there right now than not enough. And this just kind of takes the bulk out of it. So it's not so bulky on the corners and things. The trash can walked away from me. All right, and then I just bring it up slowly, not real fast. Put that crease in. Sometimes it's a little difficult to keep a hold of it when you're doing that because it is so long. But we're going to be glad that it's long. And do the same thing to the other side. Slowly put that crease in there. I notice I'm using my hand and not my bone folder right now, so I don't want it to crack. Okay. Now we'll pull those open so we can get this bottom part fold it up. And the other one. I'm trying not to hit my camera. Basically, we're just putting a crease all the way around. Now, some people like to do the short side first. I like to do the long side first. And I try to start in the middle. Now, you do want to put a good amount of glue up against your chipboard. That will also help it not to crack on you. I mean, not tons, but just soften the paper a little bit. Okay. And I like to start in the middle and work my way out. I think that gives you a nicer crease. You will have to go back and forth across that a few times. And that's why this is my favorite bone folder, because it's just the right size to get down in these creases here where the chipboard is not at in your. And I do go back and forth over those several times because I want to make sure that's down in there good. Okay. I think we are going to squirt a little bit of glue up in here. It doesn't seem to be sticking down good. Sometimes your glue has a chance to dry a little bit before you get to it on something this large, because we don't want to put a ton of glue in there. Okay, redefine those creases a little bit. I'm not going to worry about that little excess of glue. It'll dry, and it dries clear, and we're covering that all up anyway, so. All right, so then we go to the other side. Same, whoops. I went right up on my chipboard. Same thing on this side. Right up against the chipboard, not on it. It's always fun to play with glue. Same thing on this side. Make sure you get down in those creases so you don't tear it when you go to bend it again. I like my journals to be very sturdy. This is something that you're going to be opening and closing a lot. Maybe not a photo album as much, but if you're doing journaling in it too, or just journaling, because you can use these for just journaling. It doesn't have to be for photos. I just call it a photo journal because you can do both in it. All right, now we'll go to one short side, Again, a good bead of glue up against that chipboard. The glue kind of gets in there and it'll break down the fibers a little bit so it doesn't, hopefully, crack. Sometimes it still does, but especially, you know, depending on the chipboard that, or the, not chipboard, but the cardstock that you're using. If you're using a really, really thick cardstock, which mine is fairly thick, but this one's not as thick as that other one I was using, but it's fairly thick, so it'll be sturdy. Just a tiny bit of overhang right there. I want to snip that off. All right, and we'll go to the other side. The lid is flying. I still see a little gap right here. It's right where that seam is, so I really want to, even if I put some on top and let it dry just like that, because I really want that to stick well there. And I saw a little bit right in here. And when you put your other paper on, I mean, that will hold it down too, but I just like to double check it before I do glue that on. Okay. I'm going to trim this a little bit before I push it down. And if you kind of hold it up, you can look down there and make sure that it's all down. Seems to be okay. Let's see what direction we're going here. Now I'm just going to ease these up. Want them to get a little bit used to being bent. Just talk to it, tell it you want it to go, what way you want it to go. So then when we actually fold it, this is what we'll have. Is a shape like this. So we have lots and lots of room in there to put stuff in. Okay. I was looking for my sorry, I should have got them out. My little magnets. These are not the absolute best magnets, especially these black ones. I mean, they do stick, but I don't really like them that well. I do like the silver ones. I wish I had gotten bigger ones. Of course, they're really hard to get out of a metal thing. And you're talking about magnets. Okay, and we're going to put a magnetic closure on this, on here. So I want to put the magnets on before I put my paper on, so that I can cover them up. And I think with these little ones, I don't know I have any bigger ones. And these are really, like I said, not the best magnets. So if anybody out there has any better magnets that they use, if you'd put a link in the comments down there, I would really appreciate it. These are a little bigger. Let's use these. Oop. Because I'm not real wild about these ones. Okay, these are a little bigger. I think they'll work better. We won't have to have so many. And they are very strong. They are definitely very strong. And I want to put them inside just a little bit. I have the hardest time with magnets. I think something in my makeup too that, like if I get a watch that's a digital watch, I think I'm gonna put them a little closer together. If I get a digital watch, then I can wear it for about a week and then it just dies. Something in my doesn't like it, and I have a similar problem with magnets. Now I do have 2 magnets on each one of these, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Let them set up just a little bit so they'll stop moving around on you. Okay, and then what I do is I just put a little bit of glue on the other side, and then I get it to where I want it. I push it down, and then it gives me the mark, so I know where I want them other magnets to be. So that they will definitely line up. Okay, let go. Let go, my ego. Okay. Now you can hot glue these down. I know E6000 works well, but once you get the paper on there, they pretty much will stay where they're at, as long as you let them set up a little bit before you start moving it around too much. And I don't, let go. Oh, goodness. Magnets in a metal container is probably not the smartest thing. I just want to let those set up just a little bit. And sometimes I put the cardstock on the inside too, and sometimes I just use the paper. And I think we've got a good enough overlap that we're just going to use the paper, I think. No, maybe we'll just use the whole. Let's just cover the whole thing. That way we won't run into any problems. Hope that doesn't stick to my table. My only thing is I'm worried that if I make it too thick with 2 pieces of paper, that you're not going to get the magnetic closure that you need with your magnets. Let's make sure. Yeah, see, that's too thick. And I think it's because these magnets are not, I won't say they're not strong, but I don't think they're as strong as some of them I've used. And I can't remember what the other ones were that I used, so I couldn't order them. I need to go back through my, I buy a lot of my stuff from Amazon, so I need to go back through my Amazon list and see if I can find it, or like I said, if anybody knows of good magnets that are very, very strong and sturdy and powerful, I guess is what I want to say, let me know. Let's decide what we want on the inside. I think I like that. Oh, I like the purple. Maybe that. I know I'm definitely going to have to print out more paper, more of the pages. So I'll have ones that match. I think I'll print more of these out, and we'll do this all the way on the inside. If I print 2 more of those, that should be enough. Okay. Now before we, this is where the thinking comes in. You've got to kind of be clear-headed, I guess, when you do this. Let me show you on this other one. This example here. We're not going to make it exactly like this, but for example, this part here should be put down before you put your paper on the background. So you can hide them tabs. Any of these little flippy things, see how you can not see where it went? It's because I put it on there, the black part, before I put the paper on the back. I hope that wasn't confusing. But I'll show you with this first one. We'll make, let's see, we'll make a flap. Let's see, we'll make it about there. Yeah, okay. And get our scoreboard. And we're going to score about, this is about 8.5. You can score it as far down as you want, but I like to score it at least 1/2 inch. It gives you some room to work with it and be good and stable when you glue it down. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. You do whatever you want, you know, whatever kind of flaps that you want. I'm just mitering the edges a little bit. Docking the ears, or whatever you want to call it. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue this on. I'm going to glue it on right there. Gives us our little lip. Okay, so then we have our flip up. Push this, burnish this down. Okay, so then we have our little flip up part. Then that way when we put our background paper on, it's going to cover that up so you won't see that. That's why you want to make it up high enough that you have your little edge that you want around it, but so you can still get a hold of it down here. And personally, I run a little bit of glue right on the top of it. Kind of like when you're Mod Podging something, it'll just seal it up a little bit, you know what I mean? Okay, so we have that. Now we have to decide, where do we want any more of these on the base part? Let's see. If we fold it like this, I think I might want one here going that way. I'm going to move it up there to where I have my lip. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to cut that off. The fun thing about this is that you can make any kind of flips and folds and stuff that you want wherever you want. You can truly make this your own. Let's see where my fold is. So I want to do it right about there. And I know for the next, at least today and maybe even tomorrow, it's going to look kind of funky to you until we start actually putting the pretty paper on. And then it'll start coming together. Now these ones you're cutting off, save those, because these are almost the same size, so we can use those for a double flip if we want. Or you can use them for cascades or whatever. All right, so I want to make my 1/4 inch. Score line. Fold that up. Burnish it down. Dock our ears. And then we're going to glue that on. I'm going to try not to make this a really long video. That way, if you want to get your stuff out and try it sometime today, then you'll be ready for when we do it tomorrow. When we go a little further tomorrow, maybe you can follow along. And this is, you know, one reason why I don't want to have like a PDF file or anything, because it's not, I don't go by a standard like recipe or whatever you want to call it, because I don't like any of my things to be the exact same. I like them all to be different and unique in their own way. Okay, so we have this flip up and we have this flip out. Now let's see, what else do we want to do? We could actually put a piece here, and then this will flip out this way and it'll flip out that way. Or we could do it over here and put these two little ones. I cut these down and we can have it flip this way and that way. I think that's what we'll do on this side. I like that. They do need to be a little smaller. Okay. Because I want them to overlap a little, but not a lot. And I think that'll work. Get our scoreboard again. And go our 1/2 inch. This is a little less than 1/2 inch on this one, but not much. Not much. Okay. Burnish that down. Burnish this down. All right. And I think on these we are going to round corners. I do want to even this up a little bit. One of them is just a hair longer than the other. Not a lot, but just a hair. There we go. And I do want to round the corners on these. So I'm just gonna make them even. One is just a hair longer too. There we go. And we'll round the corners on that. All right. Okay, so this one is going to go. We might need to make it a tiny bit shorter. I'm not sure yet. No, we're good. Nope, we're good. Okay. And I know these little lips don't look like they would hold up long, but once you get the other paper on there too, and you've got all those layers of paper, it's a lot sturdier than you think it's gonna be. Hardest part for me is trying to get them straight. Okay. All right. back there. And I know it looks like a mess right now, but I promise you it will get better. Get this piece to stay where I want it. Give me a little lip out there, but not a tremendous one. Okay. Then we'll have those, we'll go that way, and this one will go down. Or you can have this one go down and then these go over top. I think we'll do that. That will be nice. Maybe we'll put a cascade inside here, and then that will cover it and hold it down, and then we'll put some kind of a closure on this. We may use buttons, we may use more magnets, we may use Velcro, who knows? Get my pretty paper out of the way before I get glue all over it. So that section I really like. Okay, so we're going to go back to here. We could put a cascade there, or we could just put more of these pages all the way across and make the journal inside. Let's make this more of a journal with some photo places rather than a photo album. So we may do that. So let's see, we'll want these about the same size. So if we mark it right about there, we get a few more pages. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I like even numbers. Oh, well, we already have one, so I don't need 6, I guess. So far, there it is. I was gonna say, I just covered up the one I marked, but I didn't. I wouldn't put it past me to do that, but I didn't. I think I need to get me a white gel pen, or there he is. Or a piece of chalk or something so I can see when I put a mark on a piece of paper. My pencil works pretty good, but I still have not figured out what I did with it. All right. Okay, back to our 1/4 inches. There. 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 These all folded. I have made one of these in one day before, but you gotta kind of get the right mindset to do it that fast, because there's no time for second guessing. Which I have a tendency to do a lot. Okay. Now we're going to dock all of our corners. And they don't have to be the same. They don't have to be perfect. You don't want to get them too awful humongous, though, because then you're weakening your page. But it just takes a tiny bit, just so it looks nice when it gets done. Okay, so we have our pages. So we'll put 3 this way, and we'll put 3 this way. And you'll see what I mean here in a minute. First, I want to, I'm not really measuring as much as I'm guesstimating where middle is at. I just want to mark the middle. Okay. There it is. Make it big enough I can see, I guess. Okay, I'm going to use this orange one on top of it. This makes it stand out a little for me to see, because evidently I'm blind as a bat. Okay. So we already have 1 on this side, so we'll need 2 more on this side. Try to get them even. Oh, I didn't cut them. Shoot. Well, how'd you let me do that? That's much glue on my finger here now. All right. I'm gonna cut this one kind of try to get it straight because I've already glued it. Okay. All right. Now the other ones I will measure. And we'll have like a cascade of pages as well going that way. All right, now let me cut these before I go and forget again. They don't need much, but a smidgen taken off. Can't believe I forgot to do that. Okay, let's turn them all the same way. Decided to hold on a little bit. All right, sorry about that. Can't believe I forgot to do that. They're all pretty much docked, but that one. Okay. Now we got 3 for that side. You do have to kind of think ahead a little bit when you're doing these, because you need to know where you want to cover with your pretty paper and how you want to do that. Try to put about the same amount. Go up. I want to even with this page and write down my mark in the middle. Reason for my mark in the middle is so I know when I switch to the other side. You can do these all the same direction. I just don't like to. And this will go right down the middle of that. And these seams here in the middle will all have the pretty paper run down through there. So you won't actually see that. And it kind of keeps you on the right cascade. That's what I like, to switch it to the other side. I think it just makes your cascade nicer. or waterfall, or whatever you're calling it. Okay. Trying to keep the same amount of distance between all the pages. That's why I said it takes a little bit of thinking, not a lot, but a little bit. Because I can see where my pages are here, and I want to make sure I have about the same amount of distance all the way down. Okay, and the last one. See, these I can really get. Sorry about that. That's Robin with Uniquely Robin's. Somebody called, and I have it on airplane mode and do not disturb, and it still let it come through, and I don't understand that. But we have the pages in, and I hope you can see that, you know, they're about the same distance from each other, and they just cascade down. So when it's open, you'll see the very edge of every page, about this much. And that is our middle section. So our middle section will be our journal section. And we still have room in here, if we want, to take, let me grab one here. One of these tablets that just has writing paper in it, and we'll cover this, both sides. And we'll put our eyelets in the middle here and our elastic so that you can slide this in, and then when it's full you can always slide it right back out. So that will go in the middle right here. Alright, so we pretty much got our flip up and our folds overs. We haven't done anything on this spine yet. Now we could either put this book in here, which is going to put our eyelets on the back of our book, because that's where we're at. This will be the back of our book. It'll put eyelets right down the back of the book. Or we could put it right here, which is probably what I would rather do. That way our eyelets are on the seam, or the spine of the book, where they should be. And we might put enough in there. We might put two, so we can put maybe a couple of these in there. We'll just cover them with the pretty paper, and we might put a couple of those in there. That way when they're full, then you can just slide it out and put a new one in. Okay, so we have that. So the middle of this, I think we'll just put paper down the middle. I don't really want to put my eyelets in the back of the book. Which, I mean, you can. I'm not saying that you can't. But they would be right here and right here in the back of your book. You can always, I guess, hang dangles or something from it. You can do that. I'm just not real wild about doing that. I don't know. I may change my mind before we come back at this again, but as of right now, I know for sure I'm going to put some here. So at least one or two of these books will go in here. So we'll have that. Probably at least two, I think would be good. And we'll make the elastic to where you could put 3 or 4 in there if you want to. That would be good. Yeah, I think we're just going to leave that like this for now. Like I said, I may change my mind before we come back to it. Who knows? But I think I'll just use that extra room, put the strip of paper down through there, the pretty paper, and it hides all that, and it holds that down a little better too. And then it'll just give us more room to put some really nice embellishments in here, some real chunky stuff, which I like. Okay? So far that's what we have. And these can fold either direction, you know, however you want them to work. I mean, most generally they'll go that way. But I don't know. We'll see. We may have to cut those down a little bit too. Okay, well, that's it for today, but we will come back tomorrow and get to working, and I will print out some more of our pretty paper to put in the backgrounds. Guys, have a great day. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye. Bye. God bless.